wood burnt in households, yeah, in Hungary. We had a similar case in Poland. By surprise, it happened just a moment before we had to declare fulfilling or not the renewable energy target, just and from over a week, the amount of wood burned by households increased by 10 million cubic meters. And we met our target thanks to this. Yeah. Do you think that the change of methodology in Hungary was reliable? Are there any shady things, dodgy things there?
I will try to answer, but then also ask Gabrielle because she's the number one expert on that topic. We actually work together on that topic in one of our projects. What is for sure that burning waste is also counted as biomass because, as I said, so they first they assess the total heat demand, then reduce those energy amount which can be measured, and the remaining it's assumed to be the biomass. So one is that so this remaining, of course, it also means that we know actually from in rural areas that burning waste on household level it's happening. So this is like one assumption, and the other is that it's of course really hard to assume the actual heat demand because you cannot really assess that. For instance, how many rooms they are not heated in the winter time, or what is the actual temperature inside. So there are many uncertainties, which of course you are in favor to increase the renewable share, then you will put high assumptions on that one.
We really studied the methodology change to detail at the Hungarian Energy Authority, and we realized that their building model is quite detailed and it's quite conservative. Actually, they are heating up their model to 18 degrees in the winter, so they are not overheating. They are calculating heated area versus total area, so it's quite sophisticated. And for me, the only shortcoming is that it's disability to account for burning of household wastes, as just Adam said. Aside from that, I think it is much more reliable than the previous exercise when the total amount of firewood in the Hungarian energy balance was simply equated with the product data of Hungarian forestry sector, which was obviously not accounting for many other wood sources like illegal wood, for example. So at the end of the day, it was a bonus for the Hungarian government that the share of renewables just jumped like the thing that you experienced in Poland. But I think that the truth is between the energy assumptions and the forestry production data somewhere, with a lot of methodological issues to be discovered. We have been struggling with it with Adam for many years. Clearly, as I just once wrote in one of our papers, the country would need a government level decision to clear this mess up, because the agriculture silo and the energy silo should communicate constructively to solve this issue, and none of them are interested in solving it. I just don't want to go into more detail.
I come from a country, Italy, where we have the same problem, but maybe the situation is different. As you mentioned, we have a lot of biomass that we use in the house, not in the industry, and it is more difficult to manage with this kind of situation. But besides, I have to add to this question three short points that maybe have not been mentioned this morning. The first one is the distance between the biomass source and the use, because in Italy it's a very important question. And if you have a short chain from the forest wood production and the house or the small plant, it could be sustainable. And the GRC has produced last year a report highlighting the situation where this situation can be sustainable. The second one is the quality of the air. In Italy, is the main issue regarding the biomass. and the small power that are present in the air is very controversial for the population. And the third one is, yes, there are alternatives for biomass, but I would to say not only results about the emission, but the life cycle assessment of all the cycle of production of the energy. Because, of course, most of the biomass has not a zero balance at the end. But I would to say that the alternatives are, in most cases, worse. So, looking at the situation, I think that there are more options that have to be considered to balance and to judge if it's sustainable or not.
Yeah, I mean, I think the air pollution issue is huge, and it's one of those externalities that isn't being taken into account in terms of the total cost analysis. But wood burning is the largest source of particulate matter in the EU, and it's one of the main, there's numbers, they assign, numbers to the cost of sending someone to the hospital with an asthma attack or premature mortality. All of these things cost money to society, and none of that has been, taken into account really as they continue to promote wood burning. So, and, there's a lot of talk about new modern wood pellet boilers being cleaner. They can reduce emissions somewhat of particulate matter, but the carbon cost is actually worse because you've got all the additional carbon cost of making the pellets. And by the way, Italy is the destination for a lot of those Romanian old growth forests that are being logged and turned into pellets. A lot of it goes to Italy. I didn't show you the data for Italy, but the increase in wood burning in Italy was truly astonishing amount of percentage increase. And finally, I guess I'll just take exception to the use of the word sustainable. I don't think anyone should be using that word anymore. It doesn't mean anything. It's being used in a way, it means it's equated with carbon neutrality for bioenergy. It's a false concept. It's based on phony, bad accounting, as I showed you. And it's really giving cover to a lot of bad practices. There's no one out there who will admit, everyone says their forestry is sustainable. Have you ever met anyone who admitted that some cut that they did wasn't sustainable? We hear this in the US all the time. Oh, it's sustainable forestry. Oh, really? How can it all be sustainable? Isn't there some unsustainable? Nope. They'll never admit to that. So it's a meaningless concept. I, in fact, forbid my staff to use this word. And, right? I forbid it.